Well, good morning, family. How y'all doing on this morning? Yours truly, Joe Dupree, in the building from 100 BLK, the Black Station. It is the 30th day of October. It is 5 minutes after the hour, and welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. Yours truly in the building, along with my brother from another mother. He'll be on the screen shortly. Brother Fatim from Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton, and the open lines online on WBLS, which is 107.5 in New York City. How are y'all doing on this Work It Out Wednesday? Oh, is it Working Out Wednesday? Yeah, it's Working Out Wednesday. I'm losing track of days, family. It is Working Out Wednesday. It is Hump Day. And how y'all doing out there? I see a lot of folks logging into the chat room. Good morning. Welcome. So happy to see y'all all aboard. We've got our good friend, Mr. Washington, logging in from out of Germany. Brother Eddie Barnett, we see you. Laura Bell, we see you. Willie Pickens, we see you. KC, good morning to you out there in New Jersey. Good morning. Listen, Earl Harbor in the building. Good morning, my good brother. Listen, family, welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. The countdown is on. Less than 7 days to the election. We got a big show lined up for you today. We got a big show for you also tomorrow on Turn Up Thursday, Turn Down for What. We're going to get involved with some of the local clergy and some clergy from around the world to talk about the Black church and its involvement in this election cycle. So good morning, family. How y'all doing this morning? Listen, we are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms. You can catch us right here on YouTube. Well, for those of you who are watching, you're watching us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you are outside of Facebook, which a lot of you are not, and you are watching us, let me go to where you can watch us at. On Instagram, you can see us at the JDMS, and on YouTube, we're at 100 BLK Media. 100 BLK Media. And let me go over to Instagram right quick. Good morning to all my Instagram folks who are logging in on the gram. Good morning, Gram fam. I see you. I don't even know who won the World Series last night. I'll talk to Brother Fatim about that. He's probably all in his Yankees gear. The Yankees probably won. I hope they didn't get swept. I didn't see nobody waking up this morning saying we got some new um, world champions in baseball. So hopefully the Yankees won, because I sure would hate to see them get swept by the Dodgers like that. So how are y'all doing on this Work It Out Wednesday? How y'all doing on Hump Day? Let me go ahead, as I do about this time. Not only can you watch us, but you can also join us if you want to. We do let people get into the green room. You can come on screen. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, New York did win. Okay. New York won. I'm glad somebody told me. I didn't get the opportunity to watch the game, but I have put the link in case you want to join in the green room. I'm actually putting it on Instagram, and I'm putting it on YouTube, and I'll be putting this shortly on Facebook, where if you want to join in to the conversation, I'm going to be opening up the phone lines real soon. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. Good morning, family. Good morning. We had a great conversation yesterday. We will continue the conversation. Listen, if you haven't went and early voted, I suggest you go early vote. Your vote is your voice, and your voice has power. Get engaged, get involved, and go vote. Go vote. You can bring about the change you want to see, but you have to do it with your voice at the ballot box, and go vote and get involved not only with politics from a national level, but understand all politics are local, and local politics will affect you many times much more than what's going on in Washington, D.C. So make sure that you get involved with your city council. Make sure that you get involved with your school board. Make sure you get involved with your city, county, or parish government, where you know what's going on in your city. And just like that, there he is, my man, 50 grand all day, every day. It is Brother Fatim in that New York gear, because the Yankees won last night. I didn't watch the game. When I was watching the game, I think the Yankees were winning by one. I fell asleep. But congratulations to the New York Yankees for winning last night. It wasn't a sweep, and we keep moving on to the next game. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Brother Fatim, how you doing this morning, my?
I'm good, my brother. Just worked early in the morning, man, trying to set up a interview with the former POTUS, President of the United States, Obama. Looked like it's set up, and Reverend Sharpton caught a mistake of mine. I texted him and said it would be tomorrow. I'm glad he just got off the phone with me. That's why I have my camera off. I thought I muted my mic, but it came on. So if you heard me say a word when my printer ran out of paper, you might have heard the word. I needed my printout for our guest today.
I had completely taken you off the screen, because I knew that I was solo bolo. I wouldn't do you like that, brother.
I appreciate that.
I don't make my co-host look bad. I don't make my co-host look bad.
I appreciate that. So really quick, the New York Yankees put a foot in the Dodgers' backside last night. I like what Jessica Dewberry said. She forgot the game was on. She looked up and the Yankees was winning, so she said, "I'm gonna probably keep the game off tonight and see what happened." But the Yankees put a foot in the Dodgers' backside last night. They did a good job, and we got another game tonight, and we will see what's going on. Real quick, I talked about a couple of weeks ago a little bit about law enforcement, because there was a town hall in Joe's area. And last night on Tangy T, before we got into the ratchet part, we talked to Darlington, South Carolina County Sheriff James Hudson Jr. And I appreciate my host and creator of Tangy T of Live Podcast, Veronica. We handled that interview, but she allowed me to lead, because, that's kind of my lane. But, I'm new down here. But we got a chance to talk, and I didn't hit him with no fluff. And it was a good conversation. It was about some new technology that they were bringing in, talking about the crime, but not only crime, not from a reactive point of view, but from a point of view of being proactive. We talked about programs for the young kids being involved and things like that. So it really was a good conversation. And that's what I'm saying. When we get these law enforcement officers here, especially present, we have to have the conversation. This wasn't a hard conversation because there's not too much corruption that is looked into Darlington County. There's some issues out there that's concerned. I brought up issues that concern the citizens. So that was good. Joe, I got to go on mute for a minute. Reverend Sharpton's calling me. I'll be
no
right
problem, my brother. I'll take you out. And, you know, as Brother Fatim was saying, let's just be real about it. When it comes down to law enforcement, we have to approach law enforcement from a community policing perspective, where the community is involved in understanding that we need law enforcement, but we need good law enforcement, and not law enforcement that makes us feel intimidated or threatened. Law enforcement doesn't make us feel like they are there literally to suppress us, but they are there to protect and serve. As the municipality that I work in says, they are there to give service through protection. And, you know, many a times, because of the truth and the reality that there are bad cops out there who have been allowed to put on the uniform, serve in our communities, mistreat our people, we've got to be real about the talk, you know, because I always say that once a person sees a thing, it's hard to unsee a thing. It's hard to unhear a thing. And the truth about the matter is we've got to really get down to the issues. Last night, I was watching BET and DL Hughley when he was talking to black men. And believe it or not, I believe a lot of the stuff the black men said last night on that forum on BET about the election, because once again, as the young brother from Tennessee, who was the representative that got put out the House, but got brought back in the House by the people, the House expelled him, but the people brought him back because you represent the people. Understand that when you go into an elected position, you represent the people. And just like that, speaking about representing the people, let's bring in one of the people's champs. There she is, life strategist, art therapist, speaker and author. The people's champ is here. The people's champ is here. We're going to give it up for Sister Jackson's in the building.
What's up, guys?
What up, Sister Jackson? What you telling me you gonna be short today? You ain't gonna be on with our guest from New Jersey, M2 May relative. What's up?
I want to be on, but I have an important meeting that I have, so it's supposed to start around the same time that the guest is supposed to be on. But I'm gonna try to be on and get in and get out, so I could, return to what we're doing.
Handle what you got to do. You know that. I just busting but good grand rising. Great day to you, my sister, on this hump day here this morning. Yes.
And look, y'all, pray I don't get sick, because my nephew, I told you, my nephew had come to town for the funeral last week, but we got him a one-way ticket, so he's trying to do some things up here in Jersey. But last night, my husband took him to the hospital, and we found out he has tonsillitis. Yeah, so I know.
You better drink some of that Fabulosa that you drank before, and you may be good.
I know. Look, I got right over there for team, right over there.
You better take a swig of that, baby, this morning.
So yes, we hope that he recovers. We hope that you are not infected, and we pray that everybody is fine. So I have to say this. I know. Now listen, let me ring the bell and let me give a round of applause and let me hit the horn, because today is the 30th day of October. Now listen. Somebody out there somewhere is celebrating the birthday and anniversary of today's their special day. But I think it was 18 years ago, Sister Jax was laboring in bringing somebody into this beautiful spectrum that we call the world. And we would be remiss because we don't celebrate. Some of us, we don't violate what folks don't celebrate. I like that. I'm going to start using that. We don't violate what folks don't celebrate. However, we will recognize that 18 years ago, if I'm correct, Sister Jax said, let me bring a beautiful soul into this world. And she brought her daughter into this world. So for that, we're ringing the bell and we give it a round of applause and we hitting the horn. Live! Welcome for another rotation around the sun. That's what we're going to call it. Another rotation around the sun. Okay? That's what
my mini me.
The mini you. Hold on. Whoa now. See, you got to be like Froghorn. We got to be like Froghorn, Leghorn. Come here. You's a chicken. You ain't a chicken hawk.
A many independent youths. That young lady is becoming independent. I think she's gonna have a strong mind. And I hope that any disagreements that y'all can talk about them, because I think that she is gonna be able to articulate how she feels, how she wants to move. I think that you as a mother have been a tremendous mom. And I'll tell you straight up, I tell you here, I tell you how behind the scenes, you lay the foundation. You're always going to love your cubs, but you got to let them spread their wings. You got to let them spread their wings. I just got to tell you that. All right.
It's so beautiful because, she was texting me from school yesterday, and she's working on her college essays and applications. She's doing a few early applications. So it's just so fascinating to see what she's writing, about. And she, gave it to me to take a look at. She's going to submit them today. And it's just amazing. I can't believe I'm already at the point where my kid is really growing and transitioning and going to college. And I'm so blessed. Like you said, I laid a solid foundation, so even if she strays away at any point, Lord's will, she'll still come back, to the Most High and still be true to who she is, because she is an amazing young woman. And I love her with all my heart. So I'm proud of her. It's always, especially at this age, you start to get some little bumps in the road. I know how I was, at that age, and she's far better than she's far better than I ever was. So I'm proud of her, and I look forward to seeing her growth and transition into her now womanhood. But I'm still the boss.
Right now,
listen,
right now. My parents was always the boss, the boss. But they gave me my wings when I came home from college. They gave me my wings to develop as a young man. If they needed to give me guidance, but they did not treat me the same 2 years prior to me going to college. When I came home, they treated me totally different. But they didn't isolate me. But they didn't treat me like a young teenager that they were trying to get to walk with training wheels. They took the training wheels off me and allowed me to fly those wings.
Absolutely. And even, for a mom and for a dad, I can't imagine how it is for a dad, but I know it's still, a scary time, especially with a child turning 18 and they're preparing for college, and the values you've instilled, but then you see all the stuff that's going on in the streets and how those, some of the other children are not raised properly, with not many morals or guidance. And you just pray that your kid does not get swooped up, in the chaos and the nonsense, and start hanging with the, wrong crowd just to try to experiment and things of that nature. So it is a scary time. So shout out and big ups to all of the, men and women who have sent their children off to college, or who are in the process of sending them off to college, because it is a daunting, experience, but it's still an exciting experience as well.
Because you're first timers. Because let's call it what it is. The first timers, and I know how that is, because many, many moons ago, I was a first timer. I'm not a first timer now. I'm at the last of my litter. My youngest son will be turning a senior next year. And I'm at the last of the litter. Now, I'll be honest, the mistakes I made with the first ain't nothing like where I am now with the last. And so, as I was saying before you came on, I had the awesome privilege last night to watch the BET special with D.L. Hughley, and he had a great panel of men who were talking about Black men engagement in community, especially going through this election cycle. And I think it was great because it gave a counter to the propaganda machine that says we're not involved. And it was great men there, a lot of men who proved that we are quite involved. And believe it or not, it is not the norm for Black men not to be involved. It's that it is promoted that we're not involved, and many people run with the promotion. Many of us Black men, like your great husband, like Brother Fatim, are very well involved in the community and very well involved in their family and trying to do right, not only by what I call bonus kids. I don't believe in step kids, because I have bonus kids. They do very well by their children, and all the children are our responsibility as the elders of the community to be there and to give guidance, to set an example, and to give direction from our perspective. Not saying that they will buy everything we say, but at least we have given good and wholesome instruction, and what they choose to eat off the plate, that's their choice. But they can say they can never say, because it is our job to give it, not our job for them to take everything that we give, but for us to say that we were there and we gave instructions. Like last night, it really blessed me when the brother from Tennessee, the congressman, said the following. He said, you know, they will tell you that we're not doing this. He said, the truth about it is, he said, 80% of Black America is rolling with someone who is helping their community. He said 20% of Black America, for some odd reason, is against the grain, is for the those who say, you know, whatever values they say, be it conservative, be it Republican, you know, they're for the other side for whatever reason. He said it's the 20% we need to deal with, because he said 80% of us are right on track with doing what we know is for the greater good of our community. And he said we've got to be at a place that we have accountability. But he said, here's the crazy thing. We always want to hold us accountable, but we never want to hold them accountable. He said accountability is like the Bible. He said you cannot use accountability or biblical sayings when it just makes you right. He said that door has to swing both ways. He said you can't sit there and say, well, I'm against the LGBTQA+ community because it says in the Bible. But he said, but stand there with a straight face and say, however, this lying, we can kind of overlook that, you know, because the lie ain't that. He said a sin is a sin. He said, if you're strong on homosexuality, you got to be strong on lying and adultery. That's right. Because he said, just because lying and adultery is going on the conservative side, we can't turn a blind eye to that if you're all into the Bible. Because he said the Bible swing both ways.
That's right. And you know what, Joe? If you're reading the Bible and you don't get cut, you ain't really reading the Bible. Because you cannot read that book and not feel like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to.
It got me. It got me. Right. It got me.
You know, and brave enough to, you know, bandage that wound up and accept that, you know, dang, I just got cut. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And every day people get it messed up. They think because you read the Bible or because you're trying to be more excellent and more righteous that you're never going to be wrong. That philosophy is absolutely wrong, because
I'm wrong daily, multiple times.
Multiple times. Yep. You know, but the thing is, the goal is to not be as wrong as often. You know, if you're wrong 1,000 times in a day, you know what, by next year or by tomorrow, maybe you won't be wrong 1,000 times, you might be wrong 500 times. But it's still working on improving yourself and refining yourself daily. It does not mean you are perfect. You're going to walk perfectly. Absolutely not, because we're flesh. We're flesh. The flesh is weak. We know it's wicked folks out here. We know it's demons out here. We know it's good people out here. So that's why I always say you have to watch who you're around, because those demons will leech onto you and try to suck the life out of you and try to stir up chaos and confusion everywhere. So that's why we have to be prayed up and be careful with who we surround ourselves with and how we roll and where we go, what we do. You know, addictions, like we talked about yesterday, addictions is real. And there's so many different types of addictions that we really need to, you know, really think about and realize what the hell, you know, could really take us down.
Exactly. And you know, one of the things, you know, going back to this D.L. Hughley interview, and, you know, for a lot of folks that don't know, Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, Reverend Sharpton, we all work under the banner of Urban One, which is Urban One / Radio One, TV One, D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Reverend Sharpton, we under the Reach Media umbrella of that company. It is good to work for a Black-owned conglomerate. Thanking the owners, Kathy Hughes, we call her Mrs. H, and her son, Alfred Liggins, and we thank them for that. But going back to what was said, and I merge it with the Million Man March. Joe's right. The propaganda machine, they have you believing it's cold outside while it's 90 degrees outside. I got that. But what happens is, even like during the Million Man March and what they were saying last night, yeah, it's a lot of men that are doing. But when you still compare and still say 20% is not doing, that's still a lot of people that's not doing.
It is.
And you got to look yourself in the mirror, because if anybody's gonna check us, should be us.
Mhm.
And we have to check
Amen.
us. And when we
Amen.
tell the story, we correct the story and say, okay, it's not as bad as what they say it is, but it's still bad enough that it is affecting our communities. Because if you go into these urban areas, some of them are jungles. And then when you go
Amen.
in there, you don't see the men there. So let's be realistic here. Let's really be realistic here and see that whatever that small percentage is still a large amount that is affecting our community. And when you have a cancer in your community, what does it do? It spreads. It
Amen.
spreads. You
Amen.
understand what I'm saying? You don't talk about, if you got a small little cancer in your body and everything else is healthy, what are you worried about? Are you concerned about the good part? Or are you worried about that damn cancer?
You're
So let's be real. Let's put this in a proper perspective. Understand this. Don't let them paint the narrative for us, but understand the narrative and understand the work that we still got to do.
Absolutely. And
there's always work to be done. Always work to be done.
For sure. And I love that. And I've noticed what one of the biggest problems in our community is that we are uncheckable, right? A lot of us are uncheckable to one another. We don't want to hold ourselves accountable. Quite often, we don't want to be responsible. We're easily offended instead of listening to the message. And I love, it was on a Snoop Dogg album back when I was in high school, and it stuck with me forever. And Dolomite said, speak without offending, listen without defending. So many times people are very defensive, and sometimes people speak and they can be offensive, but guess what? Sometimes people need to hear the real unadulterated truth. Everything's not going to sound sweet and savory, because you know what? When things are sweet and savory, we just get pacified to sleep. It's just like with your kids. You tell your kids, go clean your room. They don't listen. Babe, I said, I need you to clean your room. They don't listen. Get up there and clean your damn room, you know? So sometimes we got to step it up a notch. And too often our people get so, panties in a bunch, and you can't say anything to them in any form of assertiveness. Now, there's a difference between, even with emotional intelligence, between assertiveness and aggression. So we can still be assertive and assert ourselves as a people without being as aggressive, but there's times for both. You know what I'm saying? But we need to learn how to, take constructive criticism and grow from that, and not be so offended when people are speaking to try to enlighten you or to try to help you, or maybe show a different perspective. And also when somebody's sharing a different perspective, we have to be willing enough to listen and say, maybe they are right, or maybe they're not wrong. So if it doesn't apply, let it fly.
It's never easy to look yourself in the mirror and say, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hardest person you'll ever be able to correct in life is yourself. Because that's the battle. You fighting self, saying, no, I know I'm right. I'm a good. You can be a good person and be wrong.
Absolutely.
You can be a very good person. You can be a person everybody loves, but there can be some stances in your life and some situations and circumstances that your positioning is completely wrong. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be the individual yourself. You got to start with self, and you can't get upset that like I always tell people, if you got 5 folks, or better yet, I'll bring it down to 3. If you got 3 folks that are not connected and they all 3 said the same thing about you, it's you. Because those 3 folks don't know each other. So if 3 folks are like, hey, dog, I noticed this, and you'd be like, wait a minute, so-and-so said that too. They don't know each other. Why? Sometimes it's hard to admit your own shortcomings. And I believe if we as a people, as individuals, would start examining self, correcting self, and not letting other folks have to try to correct self, we would get a lot further. Because many a times our biggest problem is we don't want to look the man or the woman in the mirror and say, I'm the problem.
Absolutely.
I think it comes down to discipline.
Oh,
I think that if you are not suffering from really no type of mental illness, I think we do know, Jax, me and you and Joe, but we went in deep. And some of the things that I've talked to you, that I've dealt with challenges, I knew. You think I didn't know? It was just how to deal with it. Let's don't delude ourselves. Some of us delude ourselves. We know. We don't have the discipline to check ourselves. I don't agree with that, totally. Because we do know what's wrong with our asses at times. We know when we are alcoholic. We know when we chasing women. We know when we chasing young women. We know what we're doing. It's the discipline and what your agenda is. Like the doctor said, dopamine. What makes you feel good? You're not stupid. You think my mother didn't know that when she was drinking alcohol and she got drunk? My mother knew what she was doing. Let's be real. So we do know what we're doing. We do know how to look ourselves in the mirror. The problem is we hang a drape over the damn mirror and don't want to look in the mirror. But we know what the hell is wrong. That's the problem, is correcting what is wrong at times. I think that we sometimes run away from our responsibility and accountability, but a lot of times we know what the hell we're doing is wrong.
We just don't want to do what's hard.
Exactly.
What's hard
Hold on. I think we all saying the same thing, that at the end of the day, you got to pull yourself. You can't wait for anyone else. That's why I said hashtag start with self. You got to do it, because guess what? Jax can tell me 50 million times something that she sees that's wrong with me. She can tell me 50 million times that she care about me and I mean the world to her and I need to change. It's up to me until I grab on to what Jax has said from my perspective and say, you know what? She's absolutely right. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I don't see the wrongness that she sees.
Absolutely.
That's all that's my point.
Well, I think sometimes we, what I'm saying is no, we're not. What I'm saying is we do see the wrongness. We do see it. We just don't want to check it. That's what I'm saying.
We choose to keep being wrong then.
Right.
That's
what that don't mean we don't see it. That you say we don't see the wrongness. And I'm saying we do. Majority of the times we do see the wrongness. We just don't want to check it. That's the little tweak. That we don't, we do see the wrongness. We do know when we eating that donut when we don't need to eat that donut. I don't have to make everything like a drug or alcohol. We do know that when we stepping out our relationship or whatever, we know what we're doing. We just don't want to check it. That's all I'm saying.
When I pulled up to Burger King last week and had that Hershey cream pie, I sat there and said,
you know what you was doing.
Hold it. Hold on. But like I said, I think, not to make it seem like we're here not saying, I think we're all from our own perspective really saying the same thing, brother Fatim. Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to make this look controversial or confrontational. All I'm saying is, in our own ways, yes, you're right. You know when you're doing wrong. But here's the thing about it. Knowing that you're doing wrong and accepting that you're doing wrong is always two different things. Knowing that you're doing wrong and then accepting, saying to yourself, you know what, I don't need to be, no matter what perspective is, it's one thing to know that you shouldn't be tipping out on your significant other. It's another thing when you accept it and say, man, what am I doing?
Eddie Bonnet said something this morning I gotta agree with. Y'all may jump out your pants. He said, and stop blaming the devil for your own bad behavior.
Right.
You're tired of hearing, oh, that's just the devil. That's just the devil. And your ass, no, that ain't the damn devil. When you pulled up to that damn and got that
your choice.
That wasn't your choice. Devil, Jax, that was you.
No,
that was the daggone devil.
You know what? I get all of that, right? But at the same token, we still know the devil has power. When we do good stuff, we're blessed, we're God, whatever. But the devil has power. The devil has
influence.
I was just about to say that the devil has the power of influence. So he can encourage and influence with that spirit to walk in that lustful spirit, to walk in that
but when do you take accountability for yourself? That's all I'm saying. I just stop this broad brush of painting. When we do something wrong or something bad happens, it's always the devil. No, we got to look at that, the repercussions and the karma to certain actions. The reaction is not the devil, it's our actions that cause the reaction.
You're right. And look, this is how it could work, right, Fatim? Say the devil gets in your spirit and like you on the phone texting some chick like, yeah, baby, I'm gonna come over. You know she got a whole husband at home, right? The husband goes to work. When you make that decision to even pull up to the house, to go up in that man's house, to get up in that man's bed with his wife, right? Yeah, that's you. You made that decision.
That's me. That's right. That's not the devil.
But you can still, but the lust factor, the initial lust factor for you to entertain that woman in the first place, right? That is still a spirit that you're battling with. We all battle with different spirits.
Right. And those could be attributes that we want to contribute it to the devil, which we contributed to the negative things. Because I just had a conversation. I don't want to go into today which is stronger, lust or love? And that is a very interesting question. But you're right, but I'm just saying, I like what Eddie said. Just stop. You take a moment and take a break
don't
and
blame
say,
don't blame
the devil for
everything.
every damn bad thing that you do, and blame the devil. That's all I'm saying. Because I do understand when we talk about the negative energy, Jax, I come from this. I understand that. But I think that we tend to lean on it so much that we don't take accountability and blame it. Oh, that's just the devil. And yet, damn, when you pick up that damn bottle, even though there may be a reason you pick up that bottle, the bottom line is you. And I get you what you talk about, but if we are going to take accountability, we're going to have to stop blaming outside things that we put it on when we know that it starts with us. I do know that we can be influenced by certain things. I understand what you say that has the power of there at the end of the day, but it's the same thing with good. You understand? When you make good choices, is that God or is that you? He gave you choice, a chance to choose between this and that. He gave gravity is out here. You walk off the roof, your ass is dead. That's not the devil. That's the law. That's the law that we have to deal with.
So let me say this, and this is just my opinion, and I don't think that my opinion has to be everybody's opinion. I'm just the type person, here's how I look at what Brother Fatim just said. I cannot receive a gift and then negate the person who gave me the gift. I can't say, I believe the gift of free will and free choice that was given to me by, in my opinion, the Most High. I can't take that gift and say, you know what? I got this gift. Let me negate the person who gave me the gift. I understand the only reason I got the gift is because it was given to me by the Most High. And to me, that lets me know that the Most High is in everything I say and do because he gave me the gift of life. So I can't negate the person that gave me the gift and just say, now it's my gift. Let me forget who gave it to me. Yeah. I'm not and this is just how I operate. I operate that's why I stand in a position of no matter what name I should use, I recognize a higher power bless me with life, and everything connected to my life is a gift from him. And because it's a gift from him, I recognize him in everything. That's just me. That's just me.
Amen. And you know what? When you look at the flip side of it, you could have somebody that might feel like, oh my God, I was just blessed. I got a new job, or I got a ton of money, or receive an inheritance or whatever, right? They get that money and they go out and party and OD, right? So that picture is still big. Initially, they thought it was such a blessing that they got that money, but now they got that big pile of money and now they OD'd. Or they got that big pile of money and did something else wrong with it. So you got to ask yourself still, even with that, was it God? Was it the devil? So certain things we'll never know, but we still just have to acknowledge that, yes, there are forces out there, good and evil. If we believe in there's good, we got to believe in there's evil, and they have a job. They have so we just have to acknowledge. And absolutely, any decision that we make, it is our choice. It is our choice. We decide which way we're going to go, left or right. So it's nobody's fault but our own. However, like we said in Joe, it's the power of influence. So that's what it boils down to, power of influence. And
I just want to say, when you said that about being blessed with a contract and then going out there and overdosing, it brought back to me, it takes me back to 1986, June 19th, 1986. Basketball, collegiate basketball star Len Bias was drafted. I think he was drafted. He was out of Maryland, and I believe he was drafted by the Boston Celtics. And he died from cocaine overdose, drug overdose. And you're right. You look at that. I remember back then, baseball player, another guy. I think his name was Len Bostock. I have to look it up. Situation where he was accused of messing with a married woman, and the husband drove up beside his car and shot him and killed him. So I think and I hear what Joe said, and I'm not going to debate that because that falls into your belief in your faith system there. That's what, that falls into your faith and belief. So if you want to give thanks, we all give thanks when good things happen or whatever, you give thanks. But when things bad happen, I don't say
still
that's
give
the
thanks.
devil. Yeah, exactly.
I
still give thanks.
I don't sit there
I give
and start
thanks.
saying this, that, and the other. I just think that, I think I'll leave it there. I don't think we have to debate it. I think I'm not debating his opinion.
It's like you said, a person's belief system is not debatable. Well, that's why I said in my opinion, and I'm not trying to force my opinion, put my opinion, legislate my opinion, or legalize my opinion on anyone. Only I have to answer for how I stand in life. I believe, be it good or be it bad, it works together for him who loves the Most High. I love the Most High. So be it good, I'm praising. Be it bad, I'm praising. Be it in between, I'm praising. I guess what? Because I done got to the point, I don't give the adversary any room in my life. So be it good or be it bad, be it upside down, be it whatever, I'm giving all the praise to the Most High.
And that's the point.
And that's the point.
And that's the point I made before. I said that those that walk down the religious road, stop blaming the devil. If you believe God created everything, including the devil, stop blaming the devil, because if everything came from God, then I like what Joe said. You give thanks and you deal with that and that way. But I hate when you start doing that aspect of the game, because God talks about it and it's in the Bible, Jax. God talks about, oh, I'm a destroyer. I'm this, I'm that. I created everything. Don't get it confused. Okay? So when I said, and yet y'all didn't like this, when I said the devil is, or the God is the devil, and we are God, that means God is in all of us that walk that road. So that's what I was trying to say. If God created everything, then God is in all of us, including the negative, including the bad.
Hey, this is a good place for a shameless plug. Tomorrow on Turn Up Thursday, let me go ahead and let the cat out the bag. I've already invited Pastor Marcus Ellison to come on, and I'm going to try to get with Brother Fatim and get another pastor. But we're going to try to come in and bring some pastors in to talk about where is the church standing in today's times with today's issues. So I've already I'm going to bring in young Pastor Marcus Ellison.
What time tomorrow?
I'm going to bring him in on 8:30
9:30 our time.
9:30 your time. 9:30
your time. All right, I'm going to reach out to my man right now.
So I'm going to bring in Pastor Ellison. We're going to try to listen. And I say, come in tomorrow where we can have a good conversation about where is the church in the midst of everything that's going on right now in this world. And as we go through this election cycle, which is under 7 days, before you know it, you're going to wake up. It's going to be November the 6th. No man can stop time. And on November the 6th, and I'll be honest, I don't know how this thing going to turn out. But at the end of the day, however it turns out, guess what I know? God was watching, and I'm going to give him praise. I'm going to say, hey, praise the Lord. It all turned out the way he allowed it to turn out, because he could, in a twinkling of an eye, change the game however he wanted to change the game. So that's just me. Once again, I'm not trying to push my belief the way I do it or what I say. I want to say that again, because I don't want to ever come across as if it's my way or the highway. My way is just Joe's way, and it works for Joe. You find your way. That's why we do this podcast, not to tell you how to think, what to think, when to think. We do this podcast because we want you to begin to think and develop what you believe works for you. If it works for you, I give all praises unto him that it works for you. You figured out your way to put a smile on your face every day and to live in peace, harmony, and as stress-free as possible. And for that, hey, and
you know, Joe, and I love that. It's unfortunate. I would love to be in tomorrow, but I do have an important meeting. I have to be at tomorrow morning. I have to be there at 8:30 or whatever. So if I can hop in at some point, I will, but I know I'm going to be tied up. But I love what you're saying. And I think we also just really need to, just continue to self-examine. And when you talk about your way may not be my way and my way may not be your way, we have to be honest with ourselves when we self-examine and say, how's my way working for me? Because you might have been doing it your way for the past 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 60 years. But how is that way truly working for you? Are you happy? Are you moving forward? Are you a forward thinker? Are you pleased? How's it working? Because guess what? If your way is not really working and yielding the results that you ultimately would want, your way ain't working. So you got to switch it up. So that's why I love what you're saying, Joe.
That's why some people question the black church.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And that's why they question the black church on that.
I do too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't go to the black church. You know what I'm saying? So I used to, but I absolutely get it. And that's why there's such an exodus of people leaving the black church. You know, so I totally get it. So Fatin, real quick, back to what you said, then we'll go on and switch topics. You know, when we talked about the devil and God, right? And knowing that, you know, there's power in both. And God gives the power, right? So 1 Peter 5:8, I love the scripture because it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. That is his job. God allowed him to be on this earth to say, let me see who I could get. I'm going to snatch your ass up. I'm going to snatch you up. I'm going to snatch your kids up. I'm going to snatch your husband. The devil is out there to seek who.
Read that again. Read that again.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. So this is something years ago. This was broken down to me. You know, this was broken down. And when we talk about this, we can talk figuratively, right? Or we can talk the way it's written. And that's why we always said, that's why when we said the devil, when it walks on this earth, because it's saying that, that's a physical being. That's a physical being right now. Not talking about the spirit, because it's in the Bible when it talks about this devil and the spirit, and it talks about it when it walks the earth. And when it walks the earth, it's the physical. And that's what I've been trying to say. So when I call these people devils, I'm not doing it I'm doing it out of the nature, what the Bible says. That the devil, and that's what a lot of people don't look at, that the devil can be physical as that man or woman that walks this earth, that has that power over you, and the influence. When I say the power over you, is the influence that affects you in that way. That's why when you read that, I wanted people to zero in on what was said, because when it says walking this earth, that's not a spirit, that's the physical form right there.
Exactly.
So
and that's
let me
that's why I always say we got to watch the people we surround ourselves with, because that devil could manifest itself within a person and then try to destroy you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I talk to people about, what are you willing to lose, right?
So
some people don't have nothing to lose. Go ahead, Joe.
So speaking about the devil, let's get some breaking news, and we're going to go right back to this. NBC News, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson criticized strongly Obamacare and promises massive reform if Trump wins. The irony of this, as I'm watching over my eyes as this is being talked about, is that isn't Donald Trump the one who said he saved Obamacare? So the irony is how you say one thing, but in a devilish manner say, if I win, we're going to do a massive reform and flip this thing upside down. And I'm the type person, if it's not broke, why fix it? Or better yet, if it's not completely broke, why not tweak it to make it better?
They just pulling out this.
Drop that breaking news.
They just pulling that bull crap out the woodworks to get at the end of the day to push these things. They know it's going to be very hard to do that. You want to replace it or remove it and make reforms to it, but you have no plans. Where is the platform now? Where is the policy where's the policy for Vance and Trump to talk about that going forward? You have no plan. This is just another ploy that you're putting out there on the 11th hour to get those folks, because I hear people talk out there and they talk. I just spoke with somebody else the other day and they said to me, well, Fatin, they said, it was my friend the other day, said, Fatin, they said Kamala is so-and-so. And I was like, they all drinking the Kool-Aid. So this is another way to put the stir this batch of Kool-Aid. But just to get back to what we were saying, Eddie Bonnet, and you said, and it doesn't have a skin tone, right, Fatin? Brother, first of all, when Jax read that part, I wanted to zero in there. I can go further back and talk about the 200 fallen angels that fell. That or that as written in the good book is on the earth, right? We used to say, and we looked at our adversary, we call the white man the devil back in the day, definitely. But we also said we have black devils. So to address your question, There's white devils, there's black devils. In the sense of just dealing with it from that perspective, yes, Eddie, there's all forms of devils out there. But when we look at this system, I don't sugarcoat it, brother. It wasn't black people that put us in bondage like the white man put us in bondage here. It ain't the white man's it's not the black man institutions that are holding us hostage. It is not black man's institutions here that has this systemic racism going on here and across the globe, my brother. It is the white man. And it is what it is. You don't like it because you got white friends, just I got white friends. And if it makes you uncomfortable, so be it. It is what it is. We got white devils, we got black devils, we got every culture has people that behave like devils. But when we look at this structure system and who has brought devastation across this globe, it has been the white man. And you don't like it, I don't give a damn. Put it in your pipe and smoke it, because that's the reality.
You're right. And you know, Fatin, that's great. And to further expound, we also have to be honest with ourselves and realize that some of those devils are even within our own family.
That's
right?
correct. That's
They're within
right.
our own family. And guess what? If you can't recognize the devil in your own family, maybe it's you. And so, right? Maybe it's you. So that's what we all have to do better. And guess what? We all have times that we are the devil reincarnated.
Amen. Hey, say that one more again, Jack. Say that one more again.
I know as good of a woman as I tried to be, as good of a wife, a mom, a community activist, a leader, as good as a person I try to be, I still know sometimes the devil gets on me too. And I may act out of character. I may say things out of character. I may not do or act according to the Most High. But guess what? I have to acknowledge that and take responsibility and own up to my ish and do what the hell I'm supposed to do according to God, because that's who I want to live by. When people see me, I want people to look at me and say, I see God in you. And lately, especially, I mean, I get that quite often. But even last night when I was at physical therapy yesterday afternoon, I even had the doctor come up to me like, what is this light glowing from you? Like, I see this light on you. I see God in you. And I'm like, that's exactly what I want people to see. So I don't want to walk around cantankerous and complaining and miserable and fussing all the time. Like, I want to walk around, try to be a good person and have the light of God within me at all times.
Your energy is contagious. With that being said, we got a phone caller. Caller, welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. Question or comment? Let's go.
I just wanted to elaborate on what Brother Fatigue said, man. You know, sometimes we talk about the devil just in the spirit, but when you don't see the devil for being in the, you know, in the body, like in Trump, bro. If anybody that believes in God, that has a relationship with God, like the sister just said, the devil could be someone in your family, bro, with how they act, how they treat. I mean, you got to stand on principles and the commandments of God, brother, and the commandments of life. Just love and self-respect. Go back to the things which your grandfather and your grandmother taught you. I don't know how, you know, and it's not a black and a white thing to me, because I got my great.
Oh, we lost you, Sam.
That's the devil.
He's gonna say something good too. Dang it.
Oops.
Look, Joe can't talk neither. We can't hear you, Joe.
No, yeah, they messed up over there. Let me read a couple of comments here, since I didn't get to these comments here, because we got a guest coming on here. Okay. So Eddie Bonnet, what I started with, he said, stop blaming the devil for your own bad behavior. Marcus Allen says, do y'all remember the song, If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right? Think about that part. KC says a lot of times people don't know what they're doing wrong because they're too worried about what everyone else is doing. Focus on yourself and your household. Abraham Arcilla Carino, good morning to the panelists from the Bolivian Republic of Venezuela. Wow. Okay. That comment doesn't go into what we're talking about right now. KC comes back. People live using the devil as a scapegoat, the way you don't have to take accountability for the BS you're doing. Eddie Bonnet says, James, chapter 1, verses 13 through 14 in the King James Version. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Eddie Bonnet comes back and says, we have to discipline ourselves on the inside. People don't seem to want to discipline themselves today. That's why we are in an everything goes generation. Very interesting, because a lot of times people don't want other people to discipline their children. Like we used to have that. I ain't talking about beating them or talking to them down, but there needs to be some kind of mechanism that your community is that village. And there needs to be some kind of communication about that. Willie Pickett says we have to be accountable for our actions. So I got chance to try to read some of this. KC said Trump has been repealing Obamacare since he ran for office, the first time since we mentioned that. Timothy Melasson, who had called, he said, how can anyone that believes in God and his commandments and not see Trump true evil and devilish rays? KC says some marry the devil. I gave an answer. Eddie Bonnet said, a great answer for Tina. I gave a lot of answers, but thank you, my brother. And Pat Gable says, you got to see Chicago Council meeting, a bunch of black devils there. So that was some of the comments out there that we had on our topic this morning, and very, very, very good there, So I see our special guest. I'm going to ask our special guest. He got his camera. I see him. I see my brother. We can't hear you, Joe.
Mute, Joe.
It's not that you're on mute. You're just not coming through.
Yeah, that's true.
You are not coming through, brother. Yep, I can hear my guest because I heard him put his cup down. So,
oh my God, really?
There you go, brother. Can you lower your camera? Unless that's all you want us to see is the top of your glasses and your mustache. There you go.
I got no mustache anymore, bro. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah. Well, it didn't look like it moved, but that's better when you sit back there. Let me go ahead and introduce our special guest. This is a brother who's a personal friend, and this brother is so busy. And I don't really need for us to have people to go through us in between, because he can pick up the phone and call me and I can pick up the phone and call him. But I respect his team. Because he has good people surrounding him. But I met him a while ago through his family member, Brother James Mtume, that I worked with over 20 years, and that not only became a working colleague at 98.7 Kiss FM, and then we went over to 107.5 WBLS in New York City radio station dealing with the open line broadcast. But this brother here, I'm very, 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 very proud of. And I don't say it to him that often, but I'm trying to make up for some of the times where we haven't spoken. I remember this brother had some health challenges. I was very worried for him. I put up the prayers for him. And he's here. So let me go ahead and give him the proper introduction, because even though he's my friend, I think that sometimes we don't give people their flowers or their proper introduction, because this brother has done a lot. So I got an introduction here for this brother. Just as fine wine improves with age, so too does this brother, Angelo Ellaby, known for his wisdom and tenacity. Angelo has spent over 46 years shaping the entertainment industry, bringing out the best in artists from all backgrounds. He's the founder of Double X Exposure Media Relations, and exposure is spelled XXPOSURE. Angelo has used his platform to elevate artists across genres, including, listen to this, Michael Jackson, Dionne Warwick, Shabba Ranks, to name a few. His managerial and executive roles. Angelo served as the president of DMX label, Bloodline Record, VP of, Chrysalis Records, and later VP of Island/Def Jam Records, where he led careers for Dru Hill and Mr. Biggs. No wonder we had a meeting with Dru Hill, and I guess who set that up at the station when I got a chance to meet Dru Hill? Had to be Brother Angelo. I remember that Saturday, and that's when I also met Maya, because Maya was meeting Dru Hill up there that day. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame representation. Angelo has mentored and represented inductees like Dionne Warwick, Robert Cool Bell, and Mary J. Blige. And if you just didn't see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last week and see Robert Cool Bell and then playing that Kool and the Gang funk, This is the brother right here. Beyond Entertainment, known for his activism, Angelo has been a humanitarian, empowering artists and advocating for at-risk youth. His book, Before I Let You Go, launched in 2024, inspires readers to achieve their fullest potential and has quickly become a bestseller. Notable collaborations. Angelo has represented an array of legends, including Grammy Award winner, the late James Mtume, Roberta Flack, Genuine, and even as I stated earlier, Michael Jackson's during critical times in his career. His collaborations extended to icons in sports, television, and the arts, all rooted in his commitment to uplift, support. Legacy and honors. Angelo impact is cemented in his hometown of Newark, New Jersey, where a street now bears his name. He's celebrated as one of Out 100's most influential LGBTQ plus people of 2024, standing alongside luminaries like Cynthia Erivo and Ben Platt. With this storied career and his latest motivational book, Angelo Ellaby joins us to share his journey, his approach to artist development, and driving forces behind the continued success. And one person I did not mention, this brother was at Essence as well. And he was there with now one of our recent ancestors, Frankie Beverly and Mays. This brother was there with Frankie Beverly, keeping his legacy alive out there. So with all that said, my brother, and that even in that short period of time, it doesn't sum up everything that you have done in the entertainment business and for people out there. If you touch people that I cannot name, you've touched people big and small. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told, brother Angelo Ellaby. Good morning, my brother.
Wow, good morning to you and your team of professionals. I must say to you, I feel like I need to send you a check for such an incredible introduction. Thank you so very much, my brother. I didn't pay for that introduction, but thank you so very, very much.
You deserve that.
God be with you. God be with you. Thank you very much.
You deserve that. Let me start off, and then and then we'll get into get my team involved and stuff. I'm not gonna ask a whole bunch of questions. I'm gonna throw one and then get out here and let my Joe, and I know Sister Jackson might have to leave, so I want to get her to get a question in. Let's talk about how it has been working with icons like Dionne Warwick and Kool and the Gang. How have they influenced your approach on artist development, since you do also deal with artist development?
I must say to you, first of all, thank you and your team of professionals for allowing me to speak with you and grace your audience this morning. I got to simply say that Dionne Warwick and Robert Cobell and Melba Moore and all these legendary people never influenced my life. Never did they influence my life. I think that we have a working relationship, and we have become friends. And I don't mean friends if you split the syllables in the word friend, you say E-N-D, a friend ends. But this is longevity. We have created a relationships that allows us to speak freely to each other. And particularly with Dionne Warwick, I've been with Dionne now for 40 years. And so the influence is a communal influence. She influences me and I influence her. We talk about things. She has an institution in East Orange, New Jersey, the Dionne Warwick Institution. And it is for young people from the kindergarten to 6th grade that I am so involved with, because they're our future. I want to take Dionne's energies and her synergies and create opportunities for these little babies. She calls them her babies. Anything that she goes to do, I'm there as a support system to guide, to educate, to stimulate, and to motivate these young kids. We're working on fundraisers and trying to raise an awareness to education within the system of New Jersey. So, even with Kool, with the Kool Kids Foundation, The thing for me is to influence and to impact them with my wherewithals as to how I see their Picassos, how I see their futures. I think that we give and take. You know, it's nothing that they do special for me. It's nothing that I do special for them. We work together to bring a communal relationship that's going to benefit the consumer. I don't get into who I represent, from Michael Jackson to Whitney Houston. I could care less about how many records they sell. It ain't important to me because I don't get anything from it. I get into the meanings, the purposes of what they stand for, and the give back to the community. We must understand, we used to say that it takes a village to raise a child. And I go about, what does it take to raise a community? It takes a culture. We need to raise our culture, our understanding of our culture, what our culture is missing out on. Our culture is missing out on the commitment, the understanding of being together. We need to be together as a community of people to do what we need to do, to fight for what we need to fight for. We are still enslaved. We're still enslaved. We're still slaves. I don't care what nobody say. I'm telling you what I see, what I hear, what I feel in my body. White folks are still doing injustice to us.
Sound like me a half hour ago on this show, my brother.
It makes me angered. It makes me angered to know that we're falling into their arms. We're hugging them and they're not hugging us back.
Preach, Brother Ellaby, preach.
So the clear thing for me, when we start to talk about raising the community to an awareness and the commitment in which we need to be to ourselves. We need to be committed to us. People that look like us, black and brown people who look like us, we need to be committed to each other. And so, no, Dionne Warwick, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, we can go on down the ladder to the 6,000 people that I've been in supportive to in terms of representation for the last 50 years. That don't mean nothing for me. Careless. What I care about is what they contribute to their communities. That's what I fight for. I don't care about how many damn records they sold. It ain't coming inside of this apartment. But I do care about, and what comes in this apartment is people who look like me. People who sound like me. People who, you know, the key thing for me, man, is that I wrote this book before
I want to get into your book too.
Yeah, before I let you go, you know what, man? Before I let you go, that book with that title was for me. Before I let you go, I'm not going to let you sit up here and feel sorry for yourself.
Come on now.
You know what? We all go through trials and tribulations in life. We do, because that's called the human side of being human, right?
Come on.
The other side of it is that I am not going to let the HIV and AIDS victim, the homelessness, I'm not going to let the domestic violent person believe that they don't matter. They matter to me. So this book is not, okay, so I use Dionne Warwick, I use Michael Jackson, but that's just a template. It's a template of my life. But if you
what was your personal, let me just, since you mentioned your book, what's your personal motivation? Because I want you to, because I know Joe has a question. What is your personal motivation? Tie all that in, since you mentioned the book, Before I Let You Go. What was your personal motivation behind this? And what do you hope readers will take from your book? Go ahead. Since you mentioned your book, go ahead. Let's expound on your book. Right?
That we all are winners. And God allows us to make mistakes in life. Allows us to make mistakes in life. I've made mistakes in my life. But we got to give everybody a chance. How do we allow people to go into incarceration and come out of incarceration, and then we want to just say they don't matter? They made a mistake, just like I did. Just like you did. Just like he did. We got to give everybody a chance to live life, to start all over again, to be accepted. But that all comes from self-love. I tell people every single day of my life, I'm romantically in love with Angelo Ellaby. I love me some Angelo. I got to be a believer in me. I got to believe in me so that you can believe in me. And so many times when you knock down and beat up and knock down and bat it out and the whole other bit, all you want to do is how you got into prison. You want to do the same thing when you come out of prison. And I'm saying to people in my book, God loves you. And you can make a change. Look, I was raised by a single mother. I have 4 sisters. 3 of my sisters are addicts. You hear me?
Sir.
I don't look at them as a waste piece of life. I love them. I love them and I encourage them. I do everything in the world that I can possibly do for them to come and begin to sustain themselves in life. Who the hell am I to sit back and be judge and jury over anybody?
Come on now, preach that.
Many people,
Preach that, brother
too many damn
Ellaby.
people are like that today.
Preach, brother Ellaby. Preach,
Who
brother
the
Ellaby.
hell are we to sit back and talk about the man that's living in that box in the street, eating out of garbage cans? Who the hell? Do you know what those people had to go through? Some of them are lawyers. Some of them are doctors.
Come on.
But how the hell do we sit back and not? There's a guy that drives me around. And I was in New York last week. And I saw these brothers eating out they were picking out the garbage can and putting the bottles in the bags and the whole other bit. And I just left the bank. And I got a bunch of singles. I think it was like $40 or $50 worth of singles. And I saw these brothers over there on 42nd Street and 9th Avenue. So I asked the guy to pull the car over. And he was like, yeah. I said, no, pull the car over. So I said to the brother, I said, yo, come here for a minute, my brother. And I gave him $10 in singles. I gave the other brother $10 in singles. I gave the other brother $10 in singles. And so the driver said to me, you know, all they're going to do is go buy some drug. That ain't none of my damn business what they do with the money that I gave them.
Thank you.
You did, Joe. You released it.
I could care less what they do with that money. The bottom line is that I can't talk about God's working word if I ain't doing it.
Come on, preach.
I got to do that, man. It could be me. It could have been my father. It could have been my 3 sisters. It could have been anyone. I want people to begin to help people, and particularly people who look like them.
Black and brown. Black and brown
folks. We got to, you know what? The thing for me, man, is that we just got to wake up and understand the importance of our own culture. We got to stop being crabs in the damn barrel. We got to start to uplift, educate, motivate, stimulate our own culture of people. Stop with all of this crab in the barrel BS. We, the seniors, we got to begin to infiltrate the young minds of our young children and say to them, you're winners. You're great. You're greater. You're the greatest. And they got to believe it.
We got to speak life. We got to speak life.
Speak life into them.
We got to speak life.
And we don't. We don't. We want to chastise them. We want to tell them about their wrongs. And you know what? They know they doing damn wrong.
I said that today. You know what you're doing wrong. That's right.
So you got to take those wrongs and make them right. But it's also a way that we have to talk to them. How we have to deliver to them.
Right.
Listen,
true.
Listen, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. You
Mm-hmm.
can't get no more
Brick
streets
City.
than I am. Yes, Brick
City. Brick City.
I ain't going through no addiction and all that other. I speak to them like I speak to my sisters. And they get it. And then you know what? I give him my phone number, and people say in my office, "Why are you giving people your number?" Well, how they gonna reach out to me if I don't give them my number? They ain't got no computers. And listen to what I said. They ain't got no computers, but they have accessibility to a phone. Let them call me up. Somebody gave me a chance. Outside of the man above, there was a brother by the name of James Ntume that gave me a chance, man. No, I'm being dead. Excuse me. I'm being
dead ass serious. And you talk the way you need to talk here, brother.
Brother,
you
I'm
can
telling
say
you
what the hell you want to say, how you want to say it, brother.
I am so dead ass serious.
Because I was going this direction in a minute, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Tell you something. This man, listen, for your listeners, this man was the most incredible individual I ever met in my life.
Damn right.
He was my father. He was my father. This man said to me, because my degree is in designs.
Come on now.
He said to me, and his wife is Camille Ntume, and Camille was a designer. Camille used to come to all the charitable fashion shows that I would have in the city of Newark. She came to me in the back of the dressing room, and she said, you know, I've been to all of your shows, and blah, blah, she goes through this whole thing. She says, well, we wanted to know if you would do the styling for the album cover for my husband. And she said, my husband is Mtume. So I looked over to somebody and said, who the hell is Mtume?
You said hell or something else.
So somebody said, oh, Anto, he got the biggest record in the country right now. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, I said, oh, yeah. So I did the You, Me, and He album cover underneath the supervision of Camille. And then Mtume came to me. He said, this was incredible, man. He said, why don't you come and manage me? I said, manage you, man. I don't know nothing about no damn music. He said, yo, well, maybe what you need to do is start to understand music. This man's tutelage, I'm trying to tell you, he would send me over to Sony Epic. I felt like a damn fool every time I went out of that white building. I was like, what the hell? They were speaking Spanish. I didn't understand a dent. But every time I came back from those meetings, I had to go to his house and sit in that yellow room. And when he finished talking to me for 3.5 hours, these are the questions you ask these people. These are the questions. This is what you. This went on for 9 months, 12 months, man. This man just would teach me, preach to me, tell me. So one day there was a guy by the name of Derman somebody. He was the product manager. Called him Mtume and said, yo, I think your boy got it. So Mtume came to me. He said, oh, my brother. He would go, oh, my brother. And he would call me nephew. Nephew? The white folks say you got it now. I said, oh, the white folks say I got tubes. And he would go, yeah, I guess you know what you're doing at this point. He said to me, I know nothing about publicity. I knew nothing about management. He said to me, I just got an offer to do the music supervisor for The Native Son. It was the first film that Oprah Winfrey was to do. It was called The Native Son. It was a production by Diane Silvers. James Baldwin had his ingredients in this as well. And he said, I need a publicist. I said, man, could you tell me what the hell a publicist is? Because I didn't know what the hell a publicist was. He dug in his pocket, gave me $100. He said, drive down the street and go get some newspapers, buy 100 of them, and circle the ones that says music and performing arts. Then go downstairs in the basement, because that's where everything began, in the basement of his house.
Right.
Because everybody in the world don't lived in that basement of that house. From everybody, everybody lived in that basement.
Come on now.
So I had my little office in the basement, and I'm going down there. Because we ain't have no computers back in the 80s and the 90s. That was scary. So you had to actually do your research. So I pulled up this lady from the New York Times, and it was a Caucasian lady. And when you do these calls, you got 2 seconds to say what you want to say. I went into my introduction, blah, blah, blah. She coughed. She kept coughing. So she gave me her name. She told me what she write for in the Whore of the Bit, the column in the Whore of the Bit. She kept coughing. Man, she must have coughed for 5 minutes. She was just coughing. I went to the drugstore. I went and bought 40 packs of cough drops. I drove down the street. I went to a gift shop, got a box with them 40 things, and inside of that, I put in Tume's bio and stuff in the bottom of it. I drove down the street to Federal Express. I overnighted it to her. 2 days later, she calls me up. She says, young man, she ain't coughing no more. She must have got my cough drops, right? She ain't coughing no more. So
you got it right, Mr. L&B.
Oh, yeah, listen, I got it right. So she said to me, young man, how can I help you? Well, I represent the 2-time Grammy Award winner, James Mtume. You know, I'm going through this whole thing about Mtume. So she said, okay, let me consider this. 4 days later, Mtume is in the New York Times full-page story.
Woo.
So
Watch
the
God.
thing that I want
Watch
people
God.
to understand is, and particularly these young people, it is your charisma. It is your a way that you approach. Don't get caught off because they're being nasty to you. Be persistent. Get done what you need to get done for you. And then Mtume came to me. He said, so I guess you just learned about publicity. Her nephew. Yeah, nephew, you know it now, right, nephew? I said, Mtume, I never thought this thing was going to happen. He said, stop thinking and start doing.
Ooh, the man believed more in you than you believed in yourself. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm saying to you that Mtume was an incredible individual, man. Where you didn't have faith in yourself, you had faith in you. And you know, the great thing, man, it's like I'm still romantically in love with his wife, with Faoul, with Benin. Unfortunately, on Saturday, we went to the memorial for Ife, and it was so many people. Man, it was thousands of people that came out. But I'm trying to tell you that that's what this man was all about. He was about community. He was about loving people of color. I can't tell you, I never really had a father, but Mtume was like my dad. He would cuss me out. I would cuss him out. We went at it.
Mtume, boy.
Man, we would went at it. Oh, yeah. And I would say, well, you too. And he would say, you too. And I would say, oh, and we wouldn't talk for 2 days. And then he would call me on the phone, nephew. I said, so who is this calling me nephew? You. And I'll go, yo, Mtume, oh, how you doing today, brother? And everything was just renewed, and we continued. And he has the most incredible family. They are so connected and so loving of each other. And that's what I go with. And so you asked me about my book before I let you go.
Yes, sir.
What my book is about. My book is about giving people a chance. It's about failure, and it's about conquering. That's what it's really about, man. It's about the love of your people. That's what it's about, man. And you know what? That before I let you go, that is really for me. Before I get up out of here and God calls on me, I got to influence my people and tell my people, you're great people, you're righteous people, you're religious people, you're caring people, you're sensitive people. That's what this is about, man. We got to wake the hell up and understand that if we're going to be a collective, we got to be a collective. You know, just like the Jews and the Asians and the Italians. Woo! You know,
speak on it.
They're collective people. I don't give a shit what nobody say. They're collective. They may hate each other's guts, but at the end of the day, before they give it to me or you, they're going to give it to each other. That's what I'm trying to get across. That's what I'm talking about. And if I sound like I'm echoing James Mtume, I am. That's just my reality to it all.
And let me just say this, Brother Angelo, you know, that's the respect and the love that we have for Brother Mtume. And like we said, we threw out some big names, said brother. And he put it in the proper perspective. But when it comes to Mtume, sometimes I can't even describe. And what you just described about Mtume is just the tip of the iceberg of who this brother was. And this is not an interview about Mtume, and I wasn't going to confuse it, but you did get down to who helped at a part of your life influence you, but not only influence you, but was a father figure to you and taught you. That's like in the movie The Karate Kid. The Karate Kid had you, he was painting fences, doing all these kind of chores, and he got frustrated that I'm not learning karate, but you were learning karate. So what Mtume did is Mtume was this, he was a thinker.
Yes.
And he had you do things, not realizing, or you realizing that you were being trained. And you were being trained by a master who never called himself a master because he was trained by masters. When he talk about
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis, and then you gotta hear the story when he talk about Miles Davis, Meek, and Duke Ellington, because the world bowed to Quincy Jones. I'm not Quincy Jones, Miles Davis, and Miles Davis bowed to Duke Ellington. And you gotta hear the stories. The Mtume talks about the stories that when he would come downstairs, who would be in his house. But this is not about Mtume, but it's the influence that brother has had on us that has made us better. And it's been a privilege to have someone to pour into us that was such a giant that did not sit on a mountain from an egotistical point of view. He was down in the trenches with the people.
You know what I love the most, man? I'm going to say this. I love me some Faul Mtume.
Oh, yeah, that's Mtume's son.
Because you know what? I'm going to try to tell you something. That is Mtume to the 9th degree.
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to tell you, man, I'm telling you, Joe, I don't know if Mtume, but I'm telling you, you got to meet this little brother called Faul.
I'll bring him on here.
That is, when I tell you, that is Mtume reincarnated.
Right.
He speaks of his father. You got to understand. See, when I entered into the Mtume world, Fa was 11. Ife was 13 or 14. So I became an integral part of this family because I would go to school for them. I would do this. Blah, 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 blah. I was like the nanny, man. I didn't give a good shit about how I fit in. I just wanted to fit in. I used to cook and clean. Whatever it took, Joe, I want you to understand I did. And because of that, I got all the blessings. I graduated from the James Mtume University.
Come on now, Brother Ellaby. Come on, Brother Ellaby.
And so these kids today, they always want an intern, but they always talking about money first. The hell with the damn money. Get what you need to get because you'll make money.
So Brother Ellaby, Ellaby, let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to you and Brother Fatim, and I never had the awesome opportunity to even meet Brother James Mtume out of all the times. Now, I've been at Essence for 30 years. Since the first day of Essence, I was there. I'm so blessed now to have you on this podcast, and I'm so thankful to Brother Fatim that he brought you on because I consider you Elder Ellaby.
Thank you.
And I consider it a privilege to sit at your feet and to get this good, wholesome instruction and to hear what you're saying. How do we, for our culture, for our community, for our people, for the Black and brown girls and boys and young men and women that are listening, how do we elevate them to see what you are now putting out there to us, that you are somebody, you are great, and you can be all that you choose to be. All you have to do is begin to walk in your glory. Talk to us, brother. Talk to us.
I really think it begins with our young mothers and fathers. I really believe it begins there. You know, parents believe because they take care, they give you a roof over your head and clothes on your back and food, that is significant to I love you. It's not. My mother used to walk into my room from age 5 to 15 years old. You know what she would say to me? How is my last born this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning? Do you know I love you? And I would say, Mama, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I know you love me, but I don't have to get up into another 2 hours. The key factor is that she told me she loved me. I think that that's remiss today. I think it's so remiss that Black and brown people don't walk in their children's room and say, I love you, or hug them, or as they come in from school, you know what? I love, man, that means everything to me, because that tells them if my mother and father loves me, then I need to love myself. And if I love myself, I was taught to love somebody else. And that brings the community together to simply say, we got to love each other. That's where it's at, man. It has been so crazy that white folks has been able to separate us. It brings me back to slavery. It brings me back to slavery when they talk about who's in the field and who's in the kitchen or who's in the house.
Right.
It seems that the same kind of shit that's taking place today. And it bothers me that we're not astute enough to understand what they're doing to us.
Preach.
It bothers me that we are not a collective, and we need to be a collective, standing together, fighting for the same causes, man. You know, even with this damn crazy ass election that we're about to go through next week, it bothers me that my people do not understand what the good and what the bad is about.
Preach on that.
That these young kids are not going out to vote. You got to vote. You got to take your ass to the voting poll, and you got to vote. You got to vote. Do you understand years ago we couldn't vote?
Come on, talk on that.
People are not talking about the history of the struggles of Black people when we could not damn vote. We couldn't.
Nope, we couldn't, Brother Angelo. And you know, one of the things, and I'm glad that Brother Angelo Ellaby is on here today, because this interview is going, because when you speak to people that are grounded and real, you never know the life that an interview will take on. You understand?
Amen.
And I love that we're going with the direction. We're not forcing. He's not sitting, and I haven't seen all the interviews that he's done, and sometimes you can't get a chance to really talk and not be yourself, because Angelo's always himself, but to get into talking about the important things out there. You talked about the book, you talked about working with certain people. I want to talk about this here because a lot of us go through challenges. And one of the things, Brother Ellaby, is that I get frustrated. I'm not as articulate as Brother Mtume. I get frustrated because I see the okie doke. And when I see the okie doke, I just don't sugarcoat it. And I get frustrated on this show when I run into those people. But I know that I have a responsibility to try to teach them. But in 2024, I mean, how many examples do we have to continue to give certain people to see that what continues to be put on us? But I do understand that some people's eyes are not open. But my question to you, my brother, is you, and I love where this interview is going, but let's talk about challenges, because a lot of times we face challenges in life. I want because you face challenges like everybody else face challenges. How did you overcome those challenges to continue to move forward? Because if you would have been stopped by those challenges, then you would not be sitting in the position that you are sitting in here to continue helping and teaching and motivating and inspiring other people. Let's talk about challenges and how you can use that as an example that people can use, how they can get up when they fall down, brush themselves off, and continue to move forward.
Let me tell you this, my brother. I filed bankruptcy twice.
Come on.
That's what white folks filed bankruptcy 4 times. Ain't no shame to my game. And I remember calling my mother and saying, Ma, I had just invested in a film with DMX. And I invested $2.5 million into this film. And it bombed, right? So that was my money. I called my mother on the phone. I said, Mom, I got to move off of 7th Avenue. And my mother said to me, she said, my mother said, I won't tell you what she said, but my mother said to me, okay. You know, I'm in the kitchen. I'm cooking my greens. So just make this brief. Can you make it brief for me? I said, Mom, I don't have no money. She said, well, how did you get your money? She said, didn't you start this mess in the basement of my house? I said, yes, Ma, I did. She said, pack that shit up. Go find you another place and start it all over again. She said, I'm not here. She said, I wiped your ass when you was a kid. I ain't wiping your ass. You're a grown-ass man now. You need to go do what you need to do. And I honestly tell you, that was a pill. My mother gave me a maturity pill that woke me up and simply said, you know what? You got 24 employees. You got to make a decision here, Angelo. I went and found another office. After filing bankruptcy, not once, but twice. Start all over again. There's been so many challenges in my life that has been unbearable sometimes. And I'm telling you, and I'm going to be very open and honest with you, I kept said, I'm such a contributor to society. Why am I so unsung? Why am I not getting the praise and the notoriety that so many other peoples are getting? I thought it was because of my sexuality. I thought it was because of, I don't know. I wasn't getting it. Do you know what? God is amazing. I want y'all to know how good God is. I got to tell y'all. And seriously, I got to tell you, God is just incredible. This year alone, in the year of 2024, I have been the #1 author of this book, Before I Let You Go, not in one category, not in two, not in three, but 4 categories. After 8 weeks, I am sanctioned to go to the White House next week to receive an honor from President Biden for my humanitarian things that I'm doing in the country. There was a street renaming of me in the city of Newark. And I'm not being bragtatious. I'm just telling y'all the goodness of the Lord.
Goodness of God. The goodness of God. Watch God.
Because last year I was sitting up here wondering what the hell, when is it, and why, what is going on? Then I'm getting this award. And then my agent calls me and said, oh, congratulations. I'm like, what the hell are you congratulating me for now? She said, you know, TV One is going to be honoring you this year. And I said, what? What I'm saying to you, and I'm not trying to be no religious person. I'm not trying to telling people how they need to bring themselves. I'm just telling you how God works for me.
Come on now.
And I'm telling you, I pray 45 minutes every day of my life.
Come on now.
And I ask God, and I'm telling you, He's a deliverer. He delivers, not on my time, but on His time. He delivers me. And I'm saying to you all, you asked me about challenges.
Sure.
I got to write a book, but I'd have to be dead to write the book of my challenges in my life and the things that I had to go through to get through to be who I am today. Challenges. But you know what? When you believe in yourself and you believe in the man above, He will see you through it all. And He's seen me through it all. And yet I still stand. And I'm so very blessed. I am so appreciative. I am so thankful for Him coming into my life and taking control of me. Because I could be one of my sisters.
Amen.
I could be a drug addict.
Amen.
I could be living on the street. Yeah.
Brother Ellaby, with your book, and I like to go there before I bring it back to Brother Fatim. Before I Let Go, I know it's available at all bookstores, probably on all digital platforms.
Yes.
Let's talk about, because we want to let people know if they don't have your book, they need to get your book. Now, here's what I'm going to do, something very, very, very obtuse right here. I'm going to ask you personally, Brother Ellaby, to send Brother Fatim a autograph copy. I need that for myself.
I'm going to do that for you and for him. How about that?
I need that, Elder, because I need to, I need more of you in my life, Elder, because what you're speaking, we have to elevate our culture, our people, and it is elders like you. I need to sit at your feet as often as you allow me to to listen to your wisdom, sir, because we've got to help what's coming behind us.
We got to help what's in front of us.
Oh, I was waiting. There you go.
That's it, brother. That's it. Not what behind us, what's in front of us. That's what
Come
I'm
on
saying. We
now.
gotta think, y'all. That's one thing about you cannot be around him too, mate, and without thinking. You could not be around that brother without thinking. Even if we were joking, you better be you better be quick on your feet.
Brother Faki, I'm trying to tell you, that man was acid. He was acid. I don't know where. And I was very close to his mother. I would say, Mrs. Foreman, what did you feed this Negro? She said, Angelo, I ain't feed him nothing. He fed himself.
There you go.
She said he fed himself. And then she would sit back. You know, the day before she passed, she called me up and she said, Angelo, she said, you know, you got a lot of shit with you. I go, yes, Miss Foreman. She said, but I really want to tell you, thank you for being a part of my son's life. Thank you for being a part of my daughter-in-law's life, and thank you for being a part of my grandchildren. She said, and I said to her, well, Miss Foreman, I didn't do. She said, I said, yes, Miss Foreman. Yes, Miss Foreman. That is an extension. I don't even know if I could say that family is the extension. They are my family. I love when I tell. Oh, and guess who's calling me? Look at this. Look at this.
Ooh.
Camilla Mtume.
That's his wife.
They're such a part of my life. I love them. I am so in love with them because they stand on the principles of Mtume. They're in the forefront of loving people and care. His wife is phenomenal. The world needs to know his wife. She's such the behind the scenes person.
Yes.
Brother Joe.
Brilliant.
She's
a scholar.
She got this heart, man. She has this unbelievable heart. She has a heart. When I tell you she has a heart, she cares about everything and everybody.
Amen. Amen.
And so when we start talking about raising our children, it takes people like Camille to bring that forth, man.
Exactly. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
Let me just say this here real quick. And I don't know if this is something that, and I just want to just say this because I don't want to take away from Brother Angelo as we get ready to wind down, but I have to say this because Mtume would have me sometime replay this story because we talk about, and I don't know if he shared this story with Brother Angelo, but the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan reached out to Mtume. They have a relationship, you know, and a lot of folks know Mtume would say he was an atheist, right?
Oh, but, yes, Lord.
Yeah. You know what Mtume would say, right? Yeah. But the reason why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan reached out to Mtume, because when he was doing the beginning stages of the putting together the building blocks for the Million Man March, he said that I can sit down with the folks that are around me, but I may not get the true answers from them because most of them or all of them may give me the answers that they think I want to hear. But he reached out to Brother Mtume because he know Mtume, even though he knew that Mtume respected him, he knew that Mtume would tell it like it is.
Do you know what?
Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And just to say this, and then I'm going to pass it right to you, Angelo. We were in Chicago. I was there. Mtume's wife was there, but she wasn't at Savior's Day. This was after Savior's Day. This was after Savior's Day. We was at the location for dinner. So me and Mtume was talking with somebody, and I'm on this side. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is speaking to someone, and he looks across the room and sees Mtume. So he mimics. He excused himself and went across to meet Mtume. So when I tell Mtume didn't see it. He said, "Brother, what happened again?" I said, brother, when Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan laid eyes on you, he stopped what he was doing, excused himself to come greet you, my brother. That is the kind of power influence. But the reason why, again, we saying this because of the impact that he's had on so many people's life. But I just wanted you to understand the impact that he had on people that other people looked at.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother Angelo, because I know you was coming right behind me.
Mtume would say to me, Angelo. Then he would go, nephew, the truth is not on strike. Tell the truth.
Ooh.
People need to tell
That was deep. Amen.
The truth is not on strike. And I find myself saying that daily to people. The truth is not on strike. Tell the truth. And that's what we need to begin to do. With our history, with our ancestors, the things that we have gone through, with our mentoring to our young people, we need to tell them the truth is not on strike. So I was on a call yesterday with Carnegie Hall representatives. And I always looked at Carnegie Hall as this stellar Caucasian facility that didn't give a good damn about Black people. I was on the phone with them for 2.5 hours to find out their outreach to incarcerated individuals, to battered wives and battered husbands, all the things they were doing in the community. I was blown away. And I lost my sophistication in conversation, and I just had to get street. I said, you white people do all this stuff for Black people? And all of them on the call, there was 6 of them on the call, they busted out laughing. I said, I never thought, I thought you were opera, I thought you were orchestras, and I thought you were this. I never knew that you had an outreach that goes inside of the Black and brown communities to indulge young kids in the performing arts. You know, we just need to begin to be more of an investigative reporters. The offerings of our communities, what they offer. We will investigate and find out if we get one of them EB, whatever cards we get the money from and the food stamp. We need to go a little bit further down the road to find out the benefits of what's going to benefit our children and our communities.
Come on.
Programs out there they don't want you to know nothing about. White folks know about it because they're going to pick it up and read it, and they're going to go to their we need to get more involved in our community activities. There are things out there that we can benefit from. And the key thing for me at this point is the education of our children. That's the most important thing to me. And how these kids are being treated. That's important to me. I don't want to see no kid living in a park. I don't want to see no kid living in a box. I don't want to see no kid eating out of garbage cans. Why? No. This is the richest damn country in the damn universe. Why are people starving? Why are people living in boxes? The bottom line for me is because there's not been an outreach. There's somebody there to help you and aid you and assist you. And then we need to talk about mental health. We need to start talking about that. Mental health is serious in our communities. And then I always have to ask, is it really mental health? Is it depression? Is it the need of wanting to be wanted? There's a whole lot going on with mental health. But we don't want to target into those people that we think is crazy. They ain't crazy. They know what they're doing. But we got to talk to them. We got to walk with them. We got to be with them to understand what they're going through. That's just how I feel about life, man. That's how I feel about life. If God takes me away from here today, I want to know, I want God to know, and I want my people and friends to know that I was a contributor to society and for the betterment of my people. That's what it works for me. That's what works for me. That's what works for me.
Brother. And when we do that, I know what that means. you know, I know our time is, you know, pretty short. And Brother Angelo, I want to say that we went past the time that me and Sister Val's, I call her Sister Sweets, that's what she called herself. We went past that time. But, you know, and if Joe wants to follow me, but I just want to have you give us and our viewers some closing thoughts about your book, your career, and any advice for all folks, but especially young folks that are trying to enter the entertainment business or any type of industry out there. Give us some closing thoughts, my brother, again, on your book, your career, and any advice for all folks, but especially the young folks out there that are trying to get into the entertainment business or any other industry out there.
Be original. Be yourself. Don't let anyone convolute your way of thinking of the kinds of music or the kind of performance or the kind of diction. Or be who you are. Then after you be who you are, fall romantically in love with yourself. Love you so that you can love someone else and you can expect somebody else's creativity. Be who you are. That's what I got to say, my brother.
And one more thing real quick, and then Joe, I'll let Joe have the final word. I want to put out a name because you talk about it. I'm looking at the posters you have on the wall. I see the Vibe with DMX. I see Angelo Ellaby, publicist and things like that. I want to throw out a name. And I met this young lady. I first met her through, I didn't meet her through Mtume. I don't think I met her through Mtume, but of course she and Mtume knew one another. But I met her through Susan Taylor. And I wound up producing her when she had a show for a week on 98.7 Kiss FM, 9 o'clock in the night. Toya Beasley was the program director at that particular time, gave her that name. And she was a publicist. She was a publicist for Eddie Murphy. She was a publicist for Johnny Cochran. And I just wanted to know if you got a chance to cross roads with Sister Terry Williams, who talked about mental health and Black Pain. She wrote a book called Black Pain.
Do you know what? You nail it. You're nailing it every single day. So I was with Mtume for many, many years. And Terry was the vice president of public relations for Essence Magazine. Her and Mtume has such a bond, it was unreal. But nobody can get to Mtume until you come through me. You got to come through me, right? So I was working on a corner of his basement, and I had just put in these new phones where, you know, he said I was fancy. You know, you're a fancy nigga. You're a fancy nigga. I just got tired of running up and down them damn steps, and I just figured if we put an intercom and some lines in there, it'll be different. So Terry would call every single day to talk to Mtume. And I would have conversations with Terry every single day because you had to talk to me, right? She said to me, she said, Angelo, you know, we became friends. And she said, you know, man, she said, I really want to start my own PR company. I said, so what's stopping you? She said, well, you know, I'm over here at Essence. I said, but you don't own Essence. I said, and Susan don't own Essence. You need to be able to own you. And she would say, what you talking about? She said, you starting to sound like Mtume. I said, well, you know, I'm up in this house, so I guess you're going to sound like Mtume. I said, Terry, go do you. Do you. This went on for about 3 or 4 months. And one day she called. I said, hold on, let me see if I can get into. She said, oh, no. I need to talk to you. And I said, you want to talk to me? What do you want to talk to me about? She said, Angela, I made the decision to go out on my own and to start the Terry Williams Agency. I said, and indeed, you should have done that. She called me when she got centered and got together on her staff. And you know, the wonderful thing is that there was a young lady that started out with her that is now working with Al Sharpton. Rachel. And it's so
Nordlinger.
Yeah, Nordlinger. It's so wonderful to see that Rachel still loves Terry cares for Terry, goes to see Terry, takes care of Terry, the whole of the bit. You know, that's so important. I've had more employees than the Empire State Building got steps. So I've had those kind of employees. I've had a million and gillion employees. But when I hear someone saying that they are, guess what this is, Fatih?
Who? Fa?
It's Fa. Just to see that people cared about her. And I think she was alluding and writing all the books that she wrote about mental health, was telling you, right? So the wonderful thing is about the journey gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I love her dearly. I'm gonna pray for her. I'm going to ask others to pray for her. It's wonderful to know that, you know, it's good to dream. It's best to get to the realities of those dreams, though, right? She got to the realities of her dream. You know why? You just mentioned her. And she was a sister that was embedded into her communities, into what she strived for. So, yeah, I love Terry Williams very much.
Right. And I love one of the things that Mtume, I just want to say one thing. It's not a quote, just something Mtume said, another Mtumeism is words are nice, deeds are divine. If I'm saying that right, unless Angelo, but it's nice to say words, but like you said, about dreaming, it's nice to get to that reality. And it's nice to put words in that affirmation out there, but now you got to go out there and do the work. So that's why I say words are nice, but deeds are divine. That's Mtume.
That's very much an Mtumeism.
There you go.
That is an Mtumeism.
So Elder Ella B, you have graced us today. The whole time you were talking, and I laugh because so many people say I look just like this man. And I laugh because I always say I don't, but they say I favor Curtis Mayfield. And so I was thinking the whole time, Curtis Mayfield, we are winners. So I would close with saying you have graced me. You have graced us. I thank once again my awesome co-host, my brother from another mother, Brother Fatim, for allowing you the opportunity to come on here. I hope this is not the last time we see each other, Brother Ella B. I sent you through the private chat my phone number. Please call me, sir.
I wrote the number down. I'm gonna call you to get your address.
I just want to sit there and listen to your wisdom, because you have blessed me in ways that you cannot. If anything, know that I am thanking you for the blessing of the words you have delivered today. They have elevated my mindset even further than it was, and that was nothing but God working through you. And for that, my brother, I am so thankful. Brother Fatim, I'm going to allow you to have some closing words. I'm going to have some closing words, Brother Ella B. We don't want to hold you. We know you have many other things to do outside of being on this podcast, but we do thank you and we do honor you for taking time out from your busy schedule and coming on here, sir. We adore you, brother.
Exactly. And before he takes you out, brother, and when I say take you, I take you off the screen, Brother Angelo. You know, I said to Sister Val, and you know, as soon as we get through this election, I'm gonna have you on WBLS. And I've been loosely having this conversation, but we had talked, because I mentioned this to Brother Fa. I want to work him in more on Open Line, because that's a legacy of his father. And you talked about that, him being the embodiment of his father, and you're 100% correct. And I think that is a true legacy and a lineage to Open Line. I don't know where it would go, but I've talked to Fa about it. And he said, let's do it. And I want to work him in time to time, you know, folks can hear his voice and hear the extension of Brother Mtume, the third answer that we used to call him on Open Line. So I just want to I want you to hear that from my mouth, because that's the conversation I had with Brother Fa. And I know how you guys move as a family, and that's how we deal. We deal with respect, and we deal as family. All right.
Let me say thank you to both of you. I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed this journey. And you know what? If he was around, if Brother Mtume was around, he would say to both of you brothers, I appreciate you and I thank you. And I appreciate you both and I thank you for taking the time to explore my journey of my life. I'm most appreciative for the promotion of the book, but I'm more appreciative to talking about people that look like me and you. And I just want everybody to open up their minds. In conclusion, go and vote properly, rightfully, knowing what we went through as a people and what we don't want to go through again. That's me. And that's it. Thank you.
My brother, Angelo Ellaby, as Brother Joe said, Elder Angelo Ellaby, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
Appreciate
and
you.
you know I'll be in touch, and you know if you need me, you have my direct number.
God bless you both.
God
Be
bless
good.
you too, brother. Have a good one.
Guys,
All right.
Listen, love you, my brother. Love you.
Love you too. Be blessed.
All right. All right. You too, brother. Peace.
Man, Brother Fatim, I give me some closing words. I don't have a lot to say. Go on, just give me some closing words.
Let me just say this, Joe. You put us back up there together first, brother, because I don't. What I'm going to say now is, I think that the closing words was this interview today for me.
Yeah.
But I will say to this, and I say this to you, Joe, and I think that, you know, sometimes I just get totally full and frustrated of sometimes the ignorance, but I have to understand that just everybody is just not on the same page.
Amen.
And they don't love us. They don't love themselves enough that they don't understand of loving us as a people. They don't love it. They think they love themselves. They love the individual part of themselves. But if they understand that we are a vessel connected, we are physical silos. But if we are connected by the spirit, and the spirit is once it releases from the body and all that energy is connected, we are a reservoir. And when people don't realize that we're connected, when you start saying LGBTQT and all this stuff, no, we're connected. We're connected, and we are a people. We are a people, and they don't get it. So when I bring on people like this and talk about the people that I've sat at their foot, like you just said, I want to sit at Angelo, brother. Angelo said he got sat at him too. That's who I bobsleighed these folks. So for me, it's an honor. I just want y'all to understand my frustration at times. And I can't sit up here and say it in a nice manner because I'm saying it like this. Wake up, like in Spike Lee School Days. Wake up, y'all. Wake the F up. So when we bring people on like this, it's just like me just exposing another jewel to you. But these are the people that taught me and invested in me. I would not be sitting here if it was not for Mtume, Reverend Sharpton, Bob Slade. I would not be sitting here in this seat doing the work that I do. And I got to give my brother, and sometimes he don't want to take the credit, but I give Brother Lenny Green. He's not a talk show host, but he's a communicator. And I just love the way he communicates. And he's helped me just by listening to him, how he articulates and how he conducts an interview. And yourself, Joe, that's how you conduct, and talking about and being a vessel and being open. That's what we do. We absorb. Don't get so stuck on yourself. That's why when people give me accolades, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm just a vessel in a vehicle. Right. And I'm still learning, y'all. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. But this, Brother Angelo, these are the people that we just hung out, man. And Mtume got a Heineken, throwing a Heineken back after the shows, and we in the studio, we going out to get something to eat. These are the people. Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte finished doing an interview with us at 12 noon. He didn't leave the studio to 4. This is what we did. This is what we did. So I'm just honored to just share at times. And you know I don't do it much, Joe. I don't bring on these people. And then when I bring them on, you see the relationship I have them. But I don't do that often because it's about you all in the chat. It's about having discussion with you making you the important person. At times you don't get to communicate and have conversation and dialogue. So that's why at times I don't bring these giants on, because we want to talk with you. But then sometimes we got to sprinkle and let you know, hey, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. These are the people that we are working with, and not putting them on a pedestal to just look up there and honor them, but to put them where they are, to say that they are also teachers and that they can lend something through their experiences to make you honestly better. So those are my closing words today. Thank you all in the chat. Thank you for all the conversation that we've had. Joe, thank you, man, for this platform. And I thank Angelo Ellaby. Thanks, Sister Val Sweets, for reaching out to me. She just reached out to me yesterday, bro. We made this happen in one day. We made this happen. I was like, because I've been contacting, and I told you that we were trying to get tickets for Frankie Beverly, which we did get them, but you got them. But remember, I was going through Angelo's people. You understand what I'm saying? But it didn't happen. But I had mentioned this to you. But what I'm saying is, they've been reaching out to me, and I just have not been able to get it on WBLS. So this is the first time that I brought Brother Angelo on any platform to deal with his book. This was the first place. And this is how I hold this platform up in high regard. And you can definitely expect them on the platform while I got life in my body on the WBLS platform after the election. So those are my closing words. Thank you all. Thank you to everybody here.
So I'm going to keep us both up here and right. That interview that's one that's going to go in the books. Elder Angelo Ellaby, with what he imparted on all of us, I suggest that you click, you like, you share this with a friend, you tell a friend to tell a friend. This is how it is when we become the vessels of what needs to be permeated through our neighborhoods, through our communities, and through our families to elevate us to higher heights. So as I always say about this time, keeping me and Fatim both on here this time, be better today than you were yesterday. Do something today to bless somebody in some way, somehow, that no matter what you do, there's no earthly way they can pay you back. And always remember that there is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. I'm closing out with some Curtis Mayfield. Why? Because we are
winners.
We're a winner. We are winners. Yes, sir.
We're a winner, and never let anybody say, boy, you can't make it, cause some people mad is in your way. No more tears do we cry, and we have finally dried our eyes, and we're moving on up, moving on up. Lord have mercy, we're moving on up now. We're moving on up. We're living proof and also learn that we're two from the collection. And we're a winner, and everybody knows it too. We just keep on pushing, like your leaders tell you to. At last that blessed day is come, and I don't care where you come from. We're all moving on up, moving on up. Lord have mercy, we're moving on up, moving on up. Moving on up. Lord have mercy, we're moving on up now. We're moving on up. I don't mind leaving here to show the world we have no fear. Cause we're a winner, and everybody knows it too. We just keep on pushing, like your leaders tell you to. At last that blessed day has come, and I don't care where you come from. We're just gonna move on up. Moving on up. Lord have mercy, we're moving on up. on. We're moving on. You know, you may remember reading in your Jet Johnson publications, a whole lot of stations didn't want to play that particular record, We're a Winner. Can you imagine such a thing? Well, I would say the way I'm sure most of you would say, we don't give a damn, we're a winner anyway. Right on? Yeah, I got a little strength out there tonight. Putting fire under. I was saying, it's all right now. We have just another version that we'd like to lay to you about here. Believing very strongly in equality and freedom for all, and especially we people who are darker than blue. We'd like to just lay another version to you. Trying not to offend anyone, but basically telling it like it is.